Fox Weather Correspondent Robert Ray was in the thick of it, reporting from New Orleans to bring us the very latest updates as Francine tore through the area.
Hurricane Francine's Category 2 winds that made its way into the coastline of Louisiana on Wednesday, yes, did cause damage in so many areas here, including New Orleans, with flash flooding scenarios in the neighborhoods around Lake Pontchartrain and the airport. Now, here in the French Quarter, power is restored and life is coming back to normal, but there are still many people suffering in those low-lying coastal communities. On Wednesday, Hurricane Francine slammed the Louisiana coastline. Big wind coming through here in Houma on the coast of Louisiana, the northeast eye wall, a Louisiana locomotive. 100-mile-per-hour winds that ripped roofs off buildings, trapped dozens of residents inside their homes, and caused floodwaters in the region.
Water was everywhere. My whole house got flooded, all my bedrooms, all my bathrooms, the sewage bag back up in the toilets, in the tub.
The eye of then Hurricane Francine moved onshore at about 5 p.m. Central in Terrebonne Parish, pushing hurricane-force wind gusts into many areas, including New Orleans and Baton Rouge. Are you surprised at this wind field at this point? I mean, we're past the eye wall, and now we're sort of in the remnant of the eye.
Right. Everyone was waiting for it to pass, and I thought it would surely be gone by now.
No kidding, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got debris flying everywhere. There's another sign about...
You know, we're in a unique situation in this city. Geographically, we're below sea level. We rely on a system of engineered drainage to remove water from the city. So it's a constant, battle. Between the ferocious winds and heavy precipitation, Francine is responsible for plunging more than 400,000 utility customers in Louisiana and Mississippi into darkness. In New Orleans, a rare flash flood emergency was issued Wednesday night, and many people found themselves stuck in precarious situations.
I had the house raised after Katrina. I said, I don't want to go through that flooding again. Unfortunately, here we are with the car, but at least my house is fine.
The Category 2 Hurricane Francine produced damage figures that could reach upwards of $1.5 billion along the Gulf Coast. As power crews work to restore electricity for so many people here in Louisiana and in parts of Mississippi, the area is breathing a sigh of relief that there is no serious injuries and no fatalities. Reporting in New Orleans, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.